All right, let's bring in CTV's Richard Madan. He joined us now from Washington. He's been watching this hour and 20-minute Trump extravaganza press conference. All right, Richard, we heard Donald Trump mention NAFTA quite a few times in that last hour and 20 minutes. He talked about this bilateral meeting that he refused to take with our prime minister. Even moments ago, Ottawa said we didn't ask for a bilateral meeting. So what's going on? What's the disconnect here?
Well, that's something you'd have to ask President Trump, and that's something we would have to really drill down with the Prime Minister's office because two stories aren't adding up here. But Trump not only just attacked Prime Minister Trudeau, he seemed to be very dismissive of him. He also attacked Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland, saying he doesn't get along with the representative, which would be her, since she is leading the delegation. And he also attacked the Canadian negotiating team, which is extraordinary. And it also goes contrast to the spin the Canadians have been putting out at all these NAFTA meetings that have been taking place over the past few weeks out front of the United States Trade Representative Office, insisting that the administration gets along with the federal government. The Liberals and the Trump administration seem to be getting along. Well, clearly, that is not the case. This could be Trump's negotiating tactics as a U.S.-imposed deadline of October 1st looms, and the likelihood of Canada being included in that text to Congress in a NAFTA deal appears very unlikely, although we are hearing that this text of this NAFTA agreement will be written in such a way where Canada can join in later. But ultimately, for the Canadians, that's the big headline that's coming out of this press conference, this extraordinary press conference by President Trump, where he really confirmed that he rejected a meeting with Trudeau, although the story from the Prime Minister's office is different. But I can tell you this, when President Trump's itinerary for the United Nations came out, it was quite revealing that all of his bilateral meetings with world leaders were listed. The one that was not included was Justin Trudeau. All
right. David McNaughton even saying, when asked, does he think that Canada will be included in the new NAFTA by the deadline, which, of course, is October 1st and very quickly approaching. And he said there's a 5 out of 10 chance that we could be part of that deal. So he doesn't seem optimistic anymore. What else are we hearing from other members of that team from Ottawa about the fact that October 1st is around the corner and this could affect the Canadian economy in a big way?
Well, first and foremost, that October 1st deadline, even Bob Lighthizer said that it can be a moving target. There have been several deadlines that have come and gone, from the New Year's Day of 2018 to the March deadline and now this October deadline. These are American-imposed deadlines. Chrystia Freeland has also been unfazed when she was asked repeatedly whether or not this would happen. As I mentioned earlier, the text to Congress with the U.S.-Mexico deal does have language reportedly that would allow Canada to join at a later time. McNaughton's comments, 5 out of 10, he's basically saying it's a 50-50 chance we can get this done. That is in 3 days from now, so I can't imagine, barring a miracle and a last-minute visit by Freeland here, that there will be a deal signed by Canada. But, you know, the other deadline, if you want to start talking about deadlines, is really December 1st, because that's when the new Mexico government assumes office. So there's a little bit more time that they can squeeze that way. Also, the whole ratification side on Congress could be sped up or extended. So, you know, it's not a doomsday scenario that the Americans and some Canadians are trying to put out there, that if it doesn't happen by this weekend, Canada's going to be left out in the cold, so to speak. There's still more time, and ultimately, you know, Freeland has said that you know, Canada's deadline is a deal. It's not the October 1st imposed by the U.S.
Very quickly, Brett Kavanaugh, let's get up to speed on that. The president once again defending him, but he did sort of qualify, saying he does want to hear at least what Christine Blasey Ford has to say.
I think the big headline when it comes to Kavanaugh was Trump suggesting he's open to replacing him if the hearing goes poorly for Kavanaugh tomorrow. That is a significant development by Trump. All week he's been standing by his man. He's been very supportive of Kavanaugh. But today he suggested that he's leaving the possibility that Kavanaugh may, in fact, he might replace him if it doesn't go very well. But if that is the case, that would throw the whole confirmation process with whoever Trump decides to choose to replace Kavanaugh into complete disarray this close before the midterm elections, which would be very problematic for Republicans seeking re-election in what appears to be a very tight race. Republicans could lose control of the House and possibly even the Senate. So if Kavanaugh is withdrawn, or if Trump decides he should be replaced, that doesn't give this Republican Congress a lot of time to find a replacement and then push ahead with more confirmation hearings, and therefore tip the balance of power on the Supreme Court to the right. This is a rare moment in U.S. history where the Republicans control three branches: the White House, the House, and the Senate. So what was looked to be on the outset smooth sailing for Kavanaugh, the outcome now is very dicey. It's unclear if he's going to make it through. And Trump himself said today, adding more speculation, that he's open, he could be persuaded to change his mind.
CTV's Richard Madan in Washington. Richard, thank you for that.